Are the ancient crystal skulls originally from Atlantis? Today I'm going to be talking about my trip to Mexico in search of that answer. Welcome to Mystic Cafe. I am Psychic Jane Doherty. I was first attracted to the crystal skulls when I went on a self-awareness trip in 1987 to Mexico City. While I was in a store in Cuernavaca, I felt an energy pulsating, and I was drawn to that energy. As I got to where that energy source was, I saw a glass case locked up with artifacts written on top of it. And immediately I could see two crystal skulls, and I was attracted to it. I had no idea why. I asked the shopkeeper as far as where did they come from. He kept saying the ruins, and pointing his finger out the door. But at that time I had no idea that there were ruins near Cuernavaca. I recently got back from a trip to Mexico where the crystal skulls proved to me how they can guide you, and phenomena does happen around it. I was attracted because there was an archaeological dig near the Feathered Serpent. The archaeologists had found hidden caves underneath the temple of the Feathered Serpent. And I wanted to get my crystal skulls there and put into the cave, the hidden area. Now, everybody was telling us this was totally impossible to do. There was no chance this could happen. The timing of everything that happened, including us getting lost as we were trying to get to Teotihuacan, actually put us in a position to speak to the archaeologist that was there. And as we got there, it was amazing because we asked them if we could have the skulls put in the hidden area inside the dig, and they said yes. So I handed them the crystal skulls, and they were in there for about 20 minutes. What was so incredible is that once they were taken out, they closed the dig up because there was a problem, and they had to close it until they can do a better way of the structure. So we were the last thing, the skulls were the last thing that was in the hidden area before they closed. What recently came to my attention is how the Mayans believed that the crystal skulls are tied to Atlantis as they are. And being at Teotihuacan, that was one of the goals that we had hoped to have, is to find out more information of why the Mayans believe this or anything else that we could uncover. First person that we came in contact was with a shaman who is actually a Toltec shaman and is the guardian of Teotihuacan. Now, Teotihuacan is an incredible pyramid complex, and at the time it was built, and no one knows who built it. They estimate that there was at least 100,000 people who lived at that complex. Now, the first thing we did was talk to the shaman. He was going to take us to certain areas there to show us where the energy was so that we could feel them. And we first talked about us wanting to have the crystal skulls activated, which was incredible that as he looked down before he was going to take us to the underground area, he looked down at his calendar, the Toltec calendar, and he saw that the day which we were there was June 6th, which was the day of the skull. So he found that to be so interesting. And what we learned is that we were going back and forth on the day that we were going to do it. And then last minute we decided June 6th was going to be the day, not knowing that it actually was the day of the skull. He also could not get over the fact that we got the crystal skulls inside the archaeological dig. And he just shook his head, like understanding and realizing that there is a power around these crystal skulls, because he could not believe that this had taken place. The shaman led us to an area that was an underground area underneath the Temple of the Sun. We sat down, put the crystal skulls on the floor, and he was going to activate them for healing.
Por hacer esta ceremonia, que nos permitan ellos llevar este fuego hacia todos los centros energéticos del mundo, para que estos hermanos y hermanas puedan ser mujeres y hombres de medicina.
It was an incredible experience as the fire ceremony began. I felt like I was leaving my body, but I felt a oneness that I had never felt before. It transported me someplace, and you could feel nothing but love and oneness and peace. And what I also felt was a remembrance of having done this before, and I could not get over that. Now, the next part of the ceremony was to send the fire, sacred fire, around to each one of us so that we would be united and receive blessings from the ancestors. From there, we went to the cave area to finish the ceremony. And in the cave, there is a hole that the sun comes through between the hours of 12 and 3, which illuminates the cave. In that ceremony, I had an intense reaction because the spirit came by me and I felt the spirit present. Oh, that is incredible.
So you're welcome, girls, sisters.
While I stood in the circle, a spirit did come around me, I sensed, and it felt as though it was a blessing of some sort. Now, he explained to us that the Toltecs and the Mayans and the Aztecs, when the culture started, the Mesoamericans, is that they did come from Atlantis. This was something that was told to us by the shaman. That's one incident we have of learning and discovering that there is a connection between the crystal skulls and Atlantis. The next day was the one day that we were really looking forward to find out information more about how the Mayans are connected to Atlantis and thus the crystal skulls. We went to visit a famous muralist named Diego Rosales, who has been collecting data and articles for years.
Atlantis.
And he had access to the Mexicana Codex, which showed in there that the Mayans came from Atlant, and that the pictures showed that it was destroyed. This was our first concrete evidence that there was truly a connection between Atlantis and the Mayans, and thus the crystal skulls. What was also very intriguing is not only did we speak about Atlantis, but he showed us pictures and explained how that also was connected to the Miami Circle, which we had been at the 12-12-12. Now, Diego is 88 years old, and he's collected this data for years. At the Miami University, on the walls outside the university, he has painted the entire picture of how the Mayans came from Atlantis, and where the Atlanteans landed was at that Miami Circle area. Now, the theory is that before Atlantis was destroyed, the high priest took the crystal skulls and left the land before it was destroyed, because the crystal skulls would hold encoded information about the past and to also help us for the future. In leaving Diego's, he insisted that we go to another place in Mexico City called Cuculco, and it was done in a circle similar to the Miami Circle, and he wanted us to see that so that we could see that connection, to continue the connection. We did go there, and what was very interesting is that supposedly this is also where the giants mated with humans. The Mayans were believed to have arrived in Central America in 10,000 BC. New evidence indicates that that may not be true, that they could have arrived much sooner. Bones have been found recently in Mexico City, and when these bones were carbon dated, they were carbon dated to be as far back as before 20,000 BC. This would indicate that they've arrived a lot sooner or a long time ago than we believed, that the original or early civilizations began in Mesopotamia, Egypt, India, and China. Now, because of the carbon dating of these bones, the Maya may actually be considered the fifth early civilization. Knowing this, it certainly can indicate that the Mayans did indeed come from Atlantis, just as they have believed for centuries that that is their origin. Thank you for watching The Mystic Cafe. See you next week.